mean, I'm little, but this is ridiculous. Is there any way of making this taller? We just come back just a bit taller. Other women are going to be proper size. Just need it. That's it. Can you say that? Well, good afternoon. I forgot to bring my flag representing 51%. But I've heard if you bring a flag, it means that you've got nothing to say. Other than that one, that's great. Not you. Okay, so how I start this thing, let me just do some housekeeping very quickly. There is no woman more important than any other when it comes to let women speak. And so everyone has an equal right to speak here. We are actually inclusive. And I want to say to the local organisers, thank you so much for all your help organising this event. And I want to say thank you to the stewards and a special big fat thanks to all the stewards that have come from England. They really do travel all around the globe. I even found some in Australia. Although they were far too sensible to come to New Zealand. This is how it goes. You put your hand up, you raise an eyebrow, you do it, I don't know, if you have a tick, whatever it is, and then we will let you speak. So we've gathered here in this beautiful, slightly drizzly place to say, no woman has a penis! No man has a vagina! I'm actually saying these words. There is no such thing as non-binary! And transitioning children is profound abuse! Okay, so the UK, Ireland, Australia, Malta, Argentina, United States of America, Canada, any country you can possibly trip off your tongue is being totally co-opted by this pernicious, dishonest, woman-hating cult. And all the women here and men, and thank you for coming, are here to say no. So let me just start it off as I should. Oh, what a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being a... Okay, there's a woman over there. I don't expect you've heard of her. She's not really done much. She doesn't do interviews. She's not particularly erudite or eloquent. But she's going to make all the rest of you feel really good about following her with a speech. Helen Joyce.
Thank you so much, Posie, both for coming and for letting me speak. So first, so that I can bugger off to the RDS for the other event that's on here today. I don't have very many things I want to say to you right now, right here, because I tend to talk my mouth off at interviewers at quite regular intervals. But there are a few things I do want to say, and the first is, thank you to the Gardaí! This is how these events should be policed. Keep these men back from us with their howls and their hates. Stop them from drowning us out. Let women speak and let women be heard. Thank you for doing this properly. I'll be telling England when I go back that this is how it's done. And the second thing I want to say is the reason I'm going out to the RDS is this country is considering a ludicrous hate crime bill, a hate speech bill. This is literally Orwellian, and we must all of us fight to stop this passing. But if it does pass, I will be back here and I will be saying the few words that I'm going to say now, and I will be saying them again, and I will keep saying them. And those things are really simple. They're the things that we all know. And the reason that we have to keep saying them is not because we're hateful, it's not because we're mean, it's not because we're just controversialists, it's not because we're right-wing, although some of us I bet are, that's fine. People all over the political spectrum know what's happening here is wrong. The reason we have to keep saying them is because human rights depend upon it. They say that they're human rights, but look at them. They're anti-speech. They're anti-freedom of expression. They're anti-freedom of belief. They don't understand that women's rights depend on women being able to set boundaries that exclude men. All men. All men, however they identify. If a woman cannot stand in a public place and say, I exclude all men, however they identify, from female-only spaces, then women have no rights. I said that on Twitter a few months ago, and a guy who's a surgeon in the army screen grabbed it, put it on Facebook with no comment, and was reported, and is now out of the army. Simply for sharing that straightforward fact. Make no mistake, we are fighting for the survival of democracy, for liberal values, for proper government. We are not doing this for fun, we are doing it because human rights depend on it. And not only women's human rights, but children's human rights. This cult is lying to children. It is misleading them. It is destroying their mental health. It is putting nice, sweet, dear little gay boys and girls on the path to transition and sterility. The day I decided to write my book was the day that I said to myself, clearly in my mind, the sentence, they are sterilising gay kids. It's a human rights abuse. It's as bad as lobotomies. We will look back on this and say, how the hell did we let this happen? And when your grandchildren say to you, where were you, mummy? Where were you when they were sterilising gay kids? You can say, I was here. I was speaking up. I was trying to stop it with everything I could. Okay, I'm off to the RDS. I've been offered it. One more thanks. Thanks, Posie, for being here.
Okay. So, it's really nice for the trans activists to come out, because inadvertently what they do is they let everybody else walking by go, well, what's that about? Because if we just met to talk about women's rights, do you think the press would come? Do you think anyone would actually be interested? No, they wouldn't. It's because these absolute lunatics do so much of our job for us. They come out, they act like crazy people, and they basically say that they don't want us to speak. And then what happens with normal people walking by us? They say, well, what do those terrible women want to say? I've heard they're TERFs. What does TERF mean? And then they read, and they go, oh, well, I think I'm a TERF too. And then the whole of Dublin will be like TERF Central.
Hi, I can't tell you my name for reasons, jobs, things like that. But this is for the kids and young people who are experiencing gender-related distress. A few years ago, I was teaching a class to a group of teenagers, and they showed me a video of a Spanish trans woman whose YouTube channel was about transitioning. This person looked sad. The video was about being foreign in London, not having enough money, not eating proper meals, rent being too expensive, not having a stable job. All of these things were going on in this person's life, but the main purpose of the video was to raise funds to go to Turkey and get face feminization surgery. I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing, mostly because that person's priorities seemed to be skewed. But my students didn't see that. All they saw was the tragic story of a trans woman who absolutely needed this surgery and needed the funds to make it happen. It didn't matter that this person looked ill or the precarity in their lives. The surgeries were the most important thing. I simply watched the video and asked my students what they thought of it, why they liked watching that channel. All they had were giggles and shrugs. They were 14. I am no longer a teacher, but I will never forget those kids, and I will never forget what it was like to go through puberty for me. I know that you, the people over there aren't listening to me, but I hope some of you online are. I know that you, children and teenagers and young people who question your gender, come to this for different reasons. What I'm about to say is by no means universal, and I cannot cover all the reasons a kid might come to question their gender, but I know something about being distressed. I know something about feeling deep shame and discomfort with your body. I know about wanting to escape the life you have, reinventing yourself and being someone completely new. When I was a teenager, I often dreamed of going somewhere else, being completely different, reinventing myself. I thought that if I could have a new name and be in a different place, all my problems would disappear. It never really happened. Despite having moved several times as a teen, reinventing myself never really quite worked. And I also found myself missing a lot of who I had been in the previous place. I missed my friends, I missed my routine. For context, I grew up around violence at home. I witnessed a suicide attempt by a relative at age 7. And I started receiving inappropriate sexual attention by older men when I was about 7. My therapist called it a volatile upbringing. Not just because of the violence, but also because my family uprooted our lives several times. The violence I saw triggered some psychological issues, but it also made me keenly aware of the physical differences between men and women. I grew up having to negotiate complicated feelings about men, about loving men, fearing men, not knowing what to do with my little brother's vulnerability. I knew not all men were bad, but I saw some of the worst of it as a child. I also had complicated feelings about women. Were women merely creatures who got abused? Was I going to be abused when I grew up by a romantic partner? Were women mad? Did women deserve it? I tell you this because I know some of you have gone through some difficult things. I know many of you suffer psychologically, whatever your background, whatever your biology. This was merely the background of the reasons for my distress. But when I was a kid, I didn't realize that what was happening around me, what I had experienced, would have such a profound effect on me. I knew I was suffering, but I didn't know why. I was angry, and I thought that being angry was unhealthy because anger led to violence, and violence was bad. I was also desperate to be loved and accepted by friends because they felt safer than my family. When I was about 17, I went through a period of feeling deep shame. I thought I was nothing. I was pure evil. I felt like I didn't deserve to exist. I felt like I didn't deserve to have nice things or experience good things. I didn't love myself. I didn't even tolerate myself. I was looking for other people to love me and to tell me that I was all right. I looked to friends, I looked to crushes, I looked to God. I felt like my family didn't get me. I blamed them for the things I'd gone through. I felt utterly alone, and I know many of you can relate to this. I don't think I told many people until things came crashing down around me at the end of university. I know I wanted a solution, but I couldn't see clearly when I was so sad and angry and I hated myself. I went into a deep depression, which cost me job opportunities at a crucial time post-degree. Some people offered me more religion as the solution. Others offered me support in any way they could. Some people offered to pay for therapy, and I also took medication from a GP. I went through therapy with somebody who's actually really good and ethical, and I got out the other end, and the road wasn't easy. My therapist challenged me. She encouraged me to think more deeply and go beyond the diagnosis. I am telling you all this because some of the adults around you, some of the clinicians who are looking after you have forgotten what it is like to be a teenager, and I haven't. The issue that you're going through, the issue that you're going through is that our culture wants to affirm your distress. They want to tell you that how you're feeling is okay and that you can live like that forever. Some of you will choose medical and surgical transition, and if you do choose to transition, know this. The people who tell you that you can change sex are lying to you. The people who tell you that your true self lies at the end of a scalpel and in hormones and testosterone and estrogen, those people are lying to you. If you do choose to go through with this, know that you will never get to the end, because it is impossible to change sex. It is impossible to get rid of your sex. And that is it. Know that you are being lied to, and know that it isn't possible to do this, and that you don't have to live with distress. Thank you.
Don't buy that umbrella. Okay. Can I just say, if you want to speak, there is no place. So if you've been told to move to a place, that's not how we do this, because otherwise that imposes a system. And this really is a very, very free-flowing, free speech event. So, yes.
Hello, Dublin. Congratulations to everyone here for coming. It takes courage. And courage is something women in Ireland have had to have for a very, very long time. But we're not going to stop now at this new problem. So I'm going to read a poem I wrote for you. And it's for people like Graham and Kellie-Jay, those who've lost a lot, but who are here still standing with us. And we stand together. Courage. Courage is not easy. It does not clad you in body armor. It does not arrive a hero like Santa Claus, magically overcoming obstacles, bringing gifts. Courage often takes one's gifts away. There is no well of courage to drink from. Courage is sourced at every turn, on every frail morning that asks you for it. Courage does not hold your hand, keeping you from harm. Courage puts you in harm's way. Nor does courage stand in your corner when the world turns on you with slurs. Courage exacts a price in loneliness. Those who know this courage recognize you. In the hard task of courage, you do not stand alone. Before you stood many. Because of you, many will stand. That is core, heart, courage.
Okay, just to remind you while we're here, no woman has a penis, no man has a vagina, there's no such thing as non-binary, and transitioning children is profound abuse.
Bisexual woman who used to work on the Dublin Pride Festival. I started out as a volunteer and then eventually I became director of events. During this time was fun and memorable. However, this was not to be. In 2013, to cut a long story short, as director of events, which by the way wasn't a paid role, my colleagues, volunteers and I were bullied by LGBT organisations that are out there right now. These people instructed their members to send out emails and social media posts attacking us and my volunteers. These so-called community organisations instigated a form of bullying that I have never seen before. This is a form of terrorism. These LGBT organisations organisations where LGBT noise belong to, Tenny and Marriage Equality, which are all based here in Dublin City. This attack happened on us during our busy Pride week. Later in that week, my colleagues and I met with these group leaders, except for LGBT noise, who didn't have the balls to face us. To be frank, I did bollock them out of it, and by the end of the conversation, I made them feel so ashamed that they were looking for the ground to open and swallow them whole. Needless to say, my time at Pride was done. This whole movement has lost the bleeding plot altogether. In 2015, they got their marriage equality and their gender recognition, and yet they still play victim today. In today's Ireland, I have noticed the slowly creeping indoctrination of gender ideology on our society. Just this year, I witnessed a councillor calling a senator a bigot on social media. This senator, by the way, was only speaking up against a scantily clad drag queen in a photograph with a minor in a national newspaper who would be taking part in our national St. Patrick's Day parade. These drag queens have a whole month in order to celebrate their sexuality, which, by the way, is way too fucking much. They have a parade in this city on the last Saturday in June every year. So why do they need our Paddy's Day parade? This type of thing is happening in Irish society and it needs to stop. I do not want to see my country being indoctrinated by another institution again. Just look what happened to our women and children when an institution had run of our hospitals, schools and government departments. We as people who live and work in this beautiful country need to be vigilant of our children's education, healthcare institutions, including our prisons that house vulnerable women and children. These women need to be protected. This whole gender ideology is making it difficult for those LGBT people who in the past fought to end discrimination in this country. I think it's important to remember if you take away a women's right to safe spaces and safe sports, it's going to set back women's rights by 100 years. Just remember to those opposed on speaking today, without women, you would not have a society without the progress or LGBT rights that we have today. I've also written a poem. It's okay, I'm queer. I slap a woman in the ladies' toilets, but it's okay, I'm queer. I grab her breasts in the bar, but it's okay, I'm queer. I call her a TERF because I dress in drag, but it's okay, I'm queer. I'm naked in public during Pride, but it's okay, I'm queer. I believe in equality except for women's rights, but it's okay, I'm queer. I'm useless at women's sports, so I identify as a woman, but it's okay, I'm queer. I marry a woman and make her have children and come out of the closet, but it's okay, I'm queer. I dress in her clothes to create my fetish, but it's okay, I'm queer. I prance around in a woman's face, but it's okay, I'm queer. I shout in women's faces, but it's okay, I'm queer. I push puberty blockers on kids, but it's okay, I'm queer. These are some of the experiences that I and many other women face in this new world. And if we object, we are called names like TERF, homophobe, whore, and many other names. We are neither. We are women and we have fought for our spaces. We do not deserve this treatment, and we will not stand for it. Let women speak.
I can see you all with your hands up, don't worry. I just want to say to anybody walking by, or anybody that doesn't know, all your schools are captured. Two of my children are very lucky because they've got me. But my daughter's just started at a college where she's already, I don't know when they started doing PSHE at college, but she's already been told, basically, if you know what someone's genitals are, you can't tell anyone. So if you go into a female changing room and some bloke in a dress shows you his penis, you can't actually report it because you've been outing that vulnerable woman. And it's everywhere. So if your kids are in school and you haven't had a look at what crap they're being fed, you absolutely have to. Can I just combat that just 1 minute? So they're very hateful. They hate us talking and being happy. Can we just do a really big roar because it really annoys them? After 3, 1, 2, 3.
Normally I would speak without notes, but looking at all of this, I actually got a bit nervous for once, so I've written something. It's not very long. So, all I want to say is, we are all here today for the same reason. We are here because women are being silenced. We are here because women's sex-based rights are being taken away. We are here because our children are no longer safe. The whole category woman is being erased, and legislation to enforce this is happening around the world. Earlier this year, I started reading Hags by Victoria Smith, which is a great book, by the way, thinking, oh, this will be about women like me, only to find it was about women in their 40s. And I've got clothes older than that, I want you to know. So, the story is different for women of my age. My generation grew up when women deferred to men, brains were a big no-no, and women's only currency was their looks. Gaining a good husband. Ambitious women gained reflected power through their husbands' careers. I was fed this message growing up. It was ingrained in me. But I had also been brought up to be opinionated and educated to assume I was the equal of any man. It therefore came as a huge shock when I started work to be patronised, to be ignored, and in those days I literally was chased around offices behind closed doors by men that I was meant to be there interviewing or working with. It was not an unusual experience. And the weird thing is, I put up with it, you know, because I just sort of thought, this is normal, this is what happens. So, then came Jermaine Greer, and I, for one, could for the first time put a name on this. Patriarchy, controlling us not only in law, but defining what we were through gender stereotypes. I made up my mind there and then I would never be controlled and defined like that. My generation fought every step of the way to start freeing women from this straitjacket. Our rights, our careers, our healthcare. We have made advances, obviously, but it's fragile, and we are still nowhere near achieving parity. And now patriarchy and big business have invented gender ideology. If they can't beat us, they'll colonize our bodies. And we here in Ireland are the guinea pigs for this experiment. Now we're faced with the introduction of legislation which will cement gender ideology into the heart of our legal system, into the Constitution itself. Under the banner of inclusivity, the government is seeking to erase all mentions of the word woman and mother in the Constitution. In fact, all references to biological sex. and to replace them with the concept of gender, that ineffable, unknowable inner conviction that one is somehow special. And in that one fell swoop, we will be right back to not even 1950, but 1850. When there is no legal definition of what a woman is, there are no protections for women. When anybody can say they're a woman, we become meaningless. We can no longer afford to pretend that this might not happen. We must form a cohesive campaign to combat it, working together in our various fields, but with one aim and one message. We must make it clear that sex is not gender.
What I would like to do here, if possible, is prioritise Irish women's voices. I don't want to be prejudiced because I love the English. But if you are from Ireland, I'd like to prioritise you.
Yes, I'm a Dubliner. I'm a very proud Irish woman. And I just want to say, can you hear me now? So I'm a very proud Dublin Irish woman. And I just want to say hello to all my women and mothers and grandmothers of ERA. ERA, the official name of the state, Article 4 of our Constitution, 1937. I just want to say we are living in uncertain times, and we can feel your positive energy that we have here, the feminine energy, right? And not forgetting our masculine energy, we love that too, and they should be in their rightful place. And what we have down here is a different type of energy, okay? And these people can be a mouse, a cat, a ladybug. They can be anything they want to be. Just don't impose it on me and my children. You are not going to turn our society inside out and upside down. You can go, you can live your life as you see fit, once you are causing no harm, loss or injury to another. And don't go near our children. Our vulnerable children, trying to sexualize our children from 4 years old, teach them how to masturbate. Stay away from our children. Now, us women, why do you think they're after us? Because we stand in the way. We guard our children. They get us out of the way. They have clear, direct access to our children. Now, what I want to say is, do you know what this is? This is the 1937 Constitution, de jure lawful primary law, national sovereign constitution of ERA, voted into existence the 1st of July 1937 with our oath to its people, and its rights derived from God, our Creator. It protects us, we the people, and it reflects, it doesn't give us the power, it reflects the power that we have as individuals and as a people. See, as stated in our preamble of this Constitution, we are all protected as individuals. It says it in the Constitution, in the preamble. These people don't even realise they're fighting for their place. They have their place. They can be what they want to. They can do what they want to their own private lives. Okay? Don't impose it on us. They're protected. They can be a cat or a mouse or whatever they want to be. Don't expect us to go along with their notions. And I'm just going to read out a section of the preamble. And seeking to promote the common good with due observance of prudence, justice and charity, so that the dignity and freedom of the individual may be assured. The individual is already taken care of in the preamble. Bear with me, sorry. So, everyone is protected. So somehow they are portraying that the people have no rights. But this constitution, they want to change this constitution because they're saying society lacks diversity and equality. But that's just not true, as per the preamble which I've just read out. Also, they are portraying that Article 41, the family, the woman and the mother in the home, is outdated and ties towards the kitchen sink. That couldn't be further from the truth. Article 41 put women and mothers on a pedestal. The state recognises that the family as the natural, primary, fundamental group of society, as a moral institution possessing inalienable rights that cannot be given or taken away, imprescriptible rights that cannot lapse of time, antecedent and superior to all positive law. Positive is man-made law. Our God-given natural rights are superior to man-made law. The state and the Constitution guarantees to protect family. The state recognises by her, the mother, the woman, by her life within the home, she gives the state a support without which the common good cannot be achieved. Without the woman, society is non-existent. The woman and the mother's importance is usually acknowledged in our original, authentic, national sovereignty, your Constitution 1937. The state shall therefore endeavour to ensure that mothers shall not be obliged by economic necessity to engage in labour to the neglect of their duties in the home. Now, just before anybody gets on their high horse, what that is saying is, it is saying if you don't want to go to work, you don't have to. You can stay at home with your children, and don't forget you can homeschool. Right? But if you want to be a career woman and you want to go to work, you can do that. So if you want to stay at home, you won't be discriminated against, but if you want to go to work, you have the freedom to do so. And the duties the Constitution is referring to is not cleaning of the house, but it's the duties of providing a happy, loving, healthy home environment for your children. Your children are this country, are the future of this country. If you have deranged children, what kind of a future are we going to have? Why do they want to replace and erase us, the women, the mothers, out of the Constitution like it's a dirty word? Right? And what word will we become? Will we become people? A person? Well, that's limited. That's not from natural law. A woman, a mother is natural, God-given. That's who we come from, our Creator. But a person is not. It's limited, right? So you see, a woman and a woman is in our natural role, our natural right under our natural law. So if they change us to something unnatural, artificial, then we will not be compatible with natural law. And will we lose our God-given rights with these changes and leave us and our families unprotected? Will we lose our primary access to our children? Will the state obtain primary access over us and our children? Will we as mothers be degraded and limited? If they change Article 41, the family, you can be assured it will affect Article 42, education. Because right now you are the primary sole educators of your children. Whatever they have in the curriculum, they can have on the menu, whatever they like. But we do not have to agree to that, consent to that. We do not have to send our children to classes that absolutely poison their brains, poison their minds. These are very fragile children. We have to protect them. The state acknowledges that the primary and the natural educator of the child is the family, and guarantees to protect and respect the inalienable rights and duties of parents to provide according to their means for the religious, moral, intellectual, physical, social education of their children. This Constitution protects our God-given rights. Why would we change it? Ask yourself. And ask yourself more importantly, why do the government want to change it? Because they'll have more control over us, and they've enough control. So people, it's time now we take this into our hands, edit your Constitution, and tell them we the people own this land. They work for us. Our fundamental rights are under attack. Our natural place in this world is under attack. Our natural rights are under attack. Our personal rights, our freedoms to express freely, our convictions, our opinions are under attack. Our right to peaceful assembly is under attack. We are under attack. Empower yourselves. Empower your families with 1937 Auburn Rocked 63 Article Clone Gaelic. Please people, now or never!
More annoying, can I just say, for those people down there, more irritating than us speaking is us cheering. And listen, we cheer and then they boo. It's quite brilliant. So ready? As loud as you can. 1, 2, 3. Too long to get the backlash. Lovely lady.
Hi everybody. Before anyone says anything, I live here. Right, thanks to Kellie-Jay and the team for coming over. It's an honour to join them as a steward today. My name is Marie Duffin, although some of you may know me as Queen Maeve on Twitter. 2 weeks ago I decided to come... Sorry, hang on. 2 weeks ago I decided to come out from my anonymity and post under my own name. It was a difficult decision, but in the end I was so weighed down with being anonymous I had no choice. I felt silenced. What was I saying that was so wrong that I had to hide? Nothing. I wanted to tweet in my own words under my own name, so I did it. Thanks to everyone who supported me on Twitter. I encourage everyone to do the same, but only if it's safe for you to do so. Right, so what piqued me? I voted yes in the same-sex marriage referendum of 2015. It was only years later that I found out that the citizens of this country were gaslit by the government and various NGOs who, in the same referendum, passed the Gender Recognition Act on the basis of self-ID. They did this using the Denton's playbook, as proven by Senator Regina Doherty, who told the Scottish Parliament that our self-ID legislation was brought in under the radar. This means that those legislating for us pulled a fast one. It also means that men had access to all of our female single-sex spaces 3 years before the women of Ireland had bodily autonomy, after the 8th Amendment was repealed in 2018. This is what piqued me. I began looking into what was going on, and I was well and truly in this fight then for our rights and the rights of children and the LGBT to be returned to us. And yet, I am truly repeat, weekly if not daily at the moment. I want to talk about language for a minute. I have been a Labour voter in England and in Ireland all of my life, and I have been in a trade union for almost 40 years. Obviously, I'm not one of the far right. 2 months ago, I resigned from my union, Forza. On reading their new menstruation and menopause policy, available on their website for all to see, I contacted head office to ask them why the word woman was not mentioned once. Instead, they used non-sexed words like employees, members, people, and workers. A couple of highlights of this non-gendered language include providing free sanitary products to all employees. What a gift for the men. People who have periods or are going through the menopause make up more than half the population. Yes, yes we do, and we are all women, Forza. Despite clearly stating that this language contributed to the erasure of women and girls in policy making, they refuse to change it because they think it's inclusive. I said that by including everyone, they exclude and erase women from our own biological reality. They gave me some guff about diversity, so I then asked them if, as a person, I should get my prostate checked. That was the last I heard from them, so I resigned. I call on everyone in Forza to challenge this language, and indeed all the unions, because they're all bloody captured. Stand for women and girls. Women, if you are a member of the Forza trade union, resign immediately and tell them why you're doing it. I will not pay subs to any organisation that seeks to eradicate my sex class in language, law or policy. The obliteration and obfuscation of the English language with regard to women in policy making is going from strength to strength. This must stop. If we cannot name ourselves in language and law, we cannot stand up for our rights. And make no mistake, this is a calculated attack on women. Right, I'm nearly finished. A couple of things before I go. Join the Countess. And donate to the best organisation fighting for the rights of all women and children in Ireland. Campaign hard to defund the gender-shite-ridden, male-infested National Women's Council of Ireland. Follow and support Not All Gays. We promote the rights of the LGBT in Ireland. Become a warrior teacher. DM me or contact Barry Wall, head warrior on Twitter. Last of all, be the billboard. And thanks again to everyone. We will win.
Thank you. Okay, yes. It's going to be Can everyone hear me? Hi everyone. Thanks to the guards for an amazing job. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to explain something that happened that you will all be aware of, I'm sure. In early 2022, our organisation, the Countess, spotted an aggressive amendment hidden within the Work-Life Balance and Miscellaneous Provisions Bill. It would delete the word woman from maternity statutory provision in this country. But with the help of the voices of the women of Ireland, we defeated this amendment. We gathered stories of both horrific and just everyday discrimination faced by women in Ireland, because women alone carry the reproductive burden. No man can identify into this. These stories are of suffering and loss, but they also brim over with maternal love. It shines through. Mothering is not fathering. Ailish, 86. My first memory is of my mother decorating the Christmas tree, while the small white coffin of the baby boy she had just given birth to a few days earlier lay on the parlour table.
I would have been one of 22 had my mum's children all lived. Mother, 60. My mother's third baby was a girl. She lived for 2 hours. She called her Anne. Mammy never got to grieve. Anne was buried in a communal grave. No funeral, no goodbye. Women were expected to bury the pain. She had no choice. She was expected to get back to work, raising her family. Mother, 86. When I got married at 25, I had to give up my job. I could not earn any money or own property or even open a bank account. When I had my first baby, the church expected me to come and be prayed over because I had a baby, because I had sex, so that those sins could be cleaned away. This humiliation was led by the church and sanctioned by the state. Mother, 46. When I returned from maternity leave, I was asked to put in writing what my contingency plan was if the creche was unable to take my child. No male colleague was ever asked that question. I was asked outright what my plans were for future children. Mother, 49. Giving birth and breastfeeding were incredible experiences which gave me new respect for my female body, but it has taken a toll on my career. Motherhood is not fatherhood, it's not personhood. Annette. My mother Maggie was sentenced to an industrial school, age 11. She was raped there and sent to Tuam. That baby died and is lying in a sewage pit along with 795 other dead children. My mother never recovered from the trauma. Mother, 41. I was on my own when I was told it was cancer. My biggest fear was for my young children, that they might have to grow up without a mother, and the guilt was unbearable. My only thought throughout treatment was the impact on their lives. That is what motherhood is. That is what a mother does. We are the women of Ireland. We feel the old pain in our bones. The homes, the industrial schools, the asylums, the churching, the marriage bar, the symphysiotomies. It's in our lineage. We carry it epigenetically. It sits a long, fresh pain of cervical check cover-up, of the state protecting itself, not women, of the state allowing young mothers to die. The same state now allows men who say they are women into female prison and into female homeless shelters, where these men terrorise women. They beat women up and they threaten to rape women. Adolescent boys are allowed to use the girls' toilets in schools in this country. Men are allowed to play in ladies' Gaelic football. But we have borne too much already, and we will never, ever, ever kiss the ring. Woman, girl, female, mother. These are our words. We are proud to be called by them. We own them. They are our birthright. We have been made to pay a high price for them. Generations before us were punished for them. They do not belong to the state. They belong to us. These words belong to us.
Where's that lovely man? It's not often on board. In the United Kingdom, whilst we've seen maternal death rise by 20%, At the same time, our General Medical Council thinks it's appropriate to take the words mother away, just like here from maternity services. So we'll be dead birthing people instead of dead mothers. It just seems that they hate us so much, and I don't know about any of you, and maybe it's different in Ireland because you have a much different history, but I sort of thought that Spice Girls came along and we kind of had one. I thought as long as I just put a tiny little flag dress on, I had some sort of rights. I had no idea, since I found out that this equality I thought I had found myself living in was actually just a little trick, a sleight of hand. Because once women found themselves to be fully human, men decided they could be us too. It's absolutely, like I think maybe 100 years time they'll look back and they'll go, ah, that's what they did. It was that moment that changed everything for every single woman. And I think if you can tell a population that they have to say a woman has a penis, you can lock them up in their homes, you can take their children away, you can tell them that they are not the actual parents to their children, that their children belong to the state. There is absolutely nothing the government and the powerful can't take from you if they can force you to say words you know are not true.
I was 17 when I was first called transphobic for saying lesbians do not have sex. I was 17 when I was first called transphobic because I said that lesbians don't do dick. I attended belong to the state-funded NGO youth groups that are for LGBT. I was called transphobic there. I was told that men can be lesbians. I witnessed so many young girls with eating disorders cutting themselves up, identifying out of their womanhood. And they were told that that was acceptable. And we're told to fucking shut up and put up as lesbians and that we can't say anything. Sorry. Gays believe what those people believe. Not all gays want to castrate children. Not all gays want to silence women. The government is bringing forward the hate speech bill in our name. Annie Hoey has used the LGBT to push her narrative. Not all gays are oppressed. We are not oppressed in this country. We have the exact same rights that everyone else does since 2015. I witnessed my friend, my gay friend, you might know him from Twitter, and Not All Gays. He believed that he was trans when he attended Belong To because he was camp and effeminate and a teenager going through normal teenage shit and experiencing the normal discomfort that teenagers do with their bodies. And he was told by Belong To and by those people that he was not a man because he was effeminate.
Investigate Belong To! Investigate them!
I wrote to Micheál Martin when he was in his Taoiseach tenure, and my email was blocked by the Department of the Taoiseach. I have been silenced at every turn. silenced by the government, silenced by those people who claim they are my community. What fucking community? There is no fucking community. These people claim to speak for us as gays, and they do not. Not all gays want this. Not all gays believe that men can be fucking women, that men can be lesbians. Lesbians do not do dick. Women do not have penises. Belong to needs to be investigated. They mix their groups, have 14-year-olds mixing with 23-year-olds. Mixed sex, mixed ages. They go on weekend breaks with these mixed groups to talk about gender and sexuality with children. It's wholly inappropriate. They are in our schools. They are teaching schools how to use pronouns, telling them that lesbians are only mostly attracted to women. We are only attracted to women, and women are fucking female.
I'm going to introduce someone now, and I haven't told her that she's speaking yet, but her hand is up. You might have seen her on Megyn Kelly. You might have seen her at a big gig in Belfast. And today she's wearing a yellow hat. Come forward.
As a secondary school student here in Ireland, it absolutely sickens me to tell you that there are teachers over there in that crowd. This temper tantrum is their reaction to some people voicing a different opinion. And with some of them being teachers, can you imagine how they would react should a student disagree with their outlandish views? Because I don't have to imagine, I know all too well what can happen. The reason I'm standing here now is because 2 years ago I asked some questions in class. I was 12 years old. My school was partaking in Stand-Up Week, which is all about pushing trans insanity, which is also organised by Belong To. Exactly. It's organised by Belong To, and by the way, schools across Ireland will be partaking in this week again from the 6th of November this year, so parents, please look after your kids. When my school partook in Stand-Up Week in 2021, the most outrageous lies were taught as fact. We were told trans women are women, sexing assigned at birth. The use of preferred pronouns is essential. I wasn't swallowing any of it. I asked questions and, surprise, surprise, my teachers weren't able to answer any of them. After that, all hell broke loose. Teachers started making desperate attempts to re-educate me. There was one instance when my science teacher spent half an hour trying to convince me that being a man or a woman has nothing to do with your reproductive system. I mean, come on, my science teacher! Another instance where a teacher teacher told me that I shouldn't voice my beliefs in my school because it's very inclusive. I mean, inclusive. Like, they're excluding me because I understand reality. How is that in any way inclusive? Inclusive my arse. But on that note, did you know Mahone is Irish for my arse? So, just to repeat, Mahone is Irish for my arse. Can you please bear that in mind as I introduce a classic Irish song rewritten for the times we're in? I give you Molly Mahone, or Molly My Arse, formerly known as Molly Malone. Okay. And please join in with the chorus, it's very simple. And I bet it would really piss all them off. Okay. In Dublin's fair city, where some girls are so pretty, I first set eyes on sweet Molly Mahone. She wandered through the ladies, pouting and taking selfies with her cock and her balls. She's a man, oh. He's a man, oh. He's a man, oh. With her cock and her balls. He's a man, oh. She died of a misgender. Sweet Molly Mahone. Now her ghost wanders through the ladies, pouting and taking selfies with her cock and her balls. She's a man, oh. He's a man, oh. He's a man, oh. With his cock and his balls. He's a man, oh. One more time.
I know there's loads. I'm just going to say really, very kindly but quite firmly, please keep it now to about 3 minutes or less, just because there's loads of hands and time. As much and powerful as I might be, I can't make it stretch. So 3 minutes, or if you go on longer for 3 minutes, I'm just going to stop you.
Hello everybody. My name is Colette O'Neill and I'm from Omagh originally, County Tyrone. And my father was a civil rights leader. So from the age of 13, I was taught that fear is your enemy. And I went on civil rights marches with my father. Now, I'm on the internet at various platforms, and my full name and full address is up there on my website. I don't subscribe to fear. The issue with this movement, with every movement that involves women, is that women are brought up to fear. My father brought me up not to fear. I have 5 brothers. There was a medal left to my father from my great uncle, who was the intelligence officer for the West Tyrone Flying Column during the 16 Rising. My father left that medal to me because he said, women carry the future. So my only message to you is, fear nothing. There's no point in having fear. It backs you into a corner, and when you're in a corner, you've nowhere to go. So don't have fear. Tell it to back away off.
I'm probably the shortest person here. Come on. Come on, Anne! Come on, Anne! Not Anne! You make right quicker. Okay.
Why can't I do announcers at the end?
Okay, my name is Anne Conway. I'm from Dublin. I'm a lifelong socialist, anti-imperialist, feminist and trade unionist. We are assembled here a stone's throw from the Irish Parliament, from that building up there. That building that's betraying women, betraying us, passing legislation unanimously supporting the most brutal attacks on women in my memory. They voted in the goal to pass the hate crime bill. It yet has to go to the Senate and be introduced. They voted to push forward a referendum that will copper fasten gender ideology in the Constitution. They agreed to sign into law the GRA, the Gender Recognition Act, brought in the back door. Those shouting abuse at us up there, many of them I know, as I said before, because I was involved in a campaign that I was cancelled from. So we need no talk from them about who is the far right. They have all the hallmarks of the far right. They're conducting a McCarthyite regime of terror against the citizens of this country. So shame on them. And I want to call out some of those people. I came to this movement because I was cancelled, as I said. We've seen the cancel culture of this mob, and I want to name some of them. The campaign I was cancelled from had on its steering committee Rosa, who claimed to be socialist. They haven't a notion. They dragged the red flag of socialism in the gutter. Another person who sat on that steering committee that cancelled me was no less than Alva Smith. Who this week, as chair of the Women's Aid, actually told people to come along here today and abuse us. And she is calling us far right. Now, Alva is a well-off academic, a middle-class woman my age and older. Yet she sees fit to throw the women of this country under the bus. She is also involved with the National Women's Council, another scandalous organisation that has continuously betrayed women. So Alva, I call on you and you ought to resign as chair. I call on People Before Profit, of which she is a member, to condemn her. To condemn her, because her attacks are absolutely scandalous. I also call on for the resignation of people like Gino Kelly, who last night he represents a working class constituency in Clondalkin. The people and women and parents of Clondalkin do not want their children trans into an ideology that's an absolute shame and scandal. And they call us TERF. And another person who was on that campaign committee, I won't mention her, but she had on her bio, her Twitter bio, sanctimonious TERF hunter. And she now has been selected as somebody to represent the Labour Party. The Labour Party! The Labour Party who say the honour and the memory of James Connolly. James Connolly who fought for the free leaflet made that we want people to begin to give out in their communities. It's about let kids be kids. Stop indoctrinating our children. Stop indoctrinating our children. And stop. So, the government over there have absolutely no mandate. Nobody voted for this absolutely horrendous and policy that they're introducing. And the Minister for Education, Norma Foley, nobody supports that. She is an absolute disgrace pushing through the SPHE policy. So these people are actually over there as well. They're actually acting as the shock troops for international organisations like the G7, like every government internationally, like the UN, all of these, the United States administration, all of them are on board when introducing this ideology in the name of human rights. And I just want to mention one other issue. The issue about being kind and compassionate. We're told to be kind and compassionate all the time. But what happened on International Women's Day 2023 here in Ireland? We had in Leinster House, in the Houses of the Oireachtas, we had a man pretending he's a woman, addressing members of the Parliament, and his thing was he wanted to punch women in the face. Yes, absolutely astounding. The other person I want to comment on is also on International Women's Day. In UCD, we had another man who seemed to be brave and pioneering. And that court case taken by Flack, who also signed a statement calling for the silence of women, as did Alva and the NWCI, etc. He's seen as pioneering and brave. He was the person speaking about women on International Women's Day in UCD. And the people who represented them, they should, and now the key solicitor is actually on the LGBT Commission in the EU. So there's jobs for the boys, jobs for the lassies, jobs if you actually jump on board and be prepared to have the kids of this country taking experimental drugs that will destroy their future. So I just want you to ask you, will you please give back the posters if you don't mind, and please also deliver those leaflets, and there's an email on the bottom of it you can contact us. Thank you.
We've got so many hands up, and we do have a finite amount of time. I'm going to break tradition, I'm afraid, because I really do mean vaginas first, but unfortunately there's some penis haver with a book out. He's done some TV work, not even on casualty.
I don't have a speech prepared. I will be. I just wanted to say just a couple of things. That is fascism over there. And not only that, but that is anti-feminist, anti-female fascism. And it is being supported by the Irish government. And most shocking of all, we all have in this country now self-ID, and no one had a fucking clue it was coming in. We need to reverse self-ID. We need to get that out of the Constitution. We need a proper debate about what it means for Irish women. It is a huge fundamental change, and it was never discussed. And it's not these privileged student arseholes over here who suffer from it. It's the women of Limerick prison. It's women in shelters. It's women in rape crisis centres. So I would say, as I said to these earlier on Twitter, go home and apologise to your mothers. And in the meantime, thank you to the police for being such a good presence here today, for taking this seriously. Thank you very much.
I've got to be very strict, so it's got to be like a minute or less. Come on, Belfast.
Yay! Shortened expression for you.
Hello, Dublin! My name's Claire, or Belfast Beatnik on Twitter. Just going to read you a quick one. I've shortened it for you. It's called We Are Constituency. We are a constituency of women, a coalition if you will, where the politics of women cross the aisle to get the win. When we set aside our judgment to listen in and understand, we burst our own blown bubble of what constitutes a line in sand. All races, all colours, all classes, all creeds, all faces and spaces, giving all not agreed. Opinions or bases of what to think, say or act, disagreeing on bases, tone, action or tact. Some don't have luxury, some don't have means, some don't have a clue of the danger it seems. We fight for them all, and their children besides, while men masquerade in their womanly hides. While we're told not to believe in our instinct and eyes, we see in the gaslight a rapist's pure lies. Where is the justice? Where is the thought for the constituency of women being conned, sold and bought? When will the scales level? When will the scales fall from the eyes? Where the line between the thick and the wise? Where is the kindness, the let live empathy for this constituency of women that now surrounds me? Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Mary and I'm from Glasgow. I didn't come there from today, but I came from Donegal today, so Donegal up the running, Donegal, up Donegal. And all I have to say is that women are born women, we are born women. We have certain features that men don't have, and guess what? They might cause us a lot of problems at times, but we still have them right by us. They're ours, our features, they're our parts of our bodies. Now, I'm not decrying the man, I love my man, he's a total darling, right? He's dead good looking and all that, and he plays guitar, but that's not the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making here is we are women, and guess what? No government, no law anywhere has the right to take that away from us. Nobody has the right to take that away from us. Nobody. Thank you for letting me speak. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name's Annette Mackay, and some of you know me because my sister is one of the 796 dead children lying in a sewage pit in Tuam in County Galway, because men with power did that to women. So all I want to say is, shake those chains to earth like dew. We are many, they are few!
Lady with the curly hair. You. It's got to be nice. I know.
I actually wanted to say something because my sister was involved in this campaign for a long time, and she's not able to be here today because she's ill. So for her and her partner, I wanted to speak today. And what we had to say was basically, when we had same-sex marriage, there was a campaign in this country. It was noisy, it was busy, and my sister was really busy on that campaign, and we were delighted when it passed. And you couldn't have been in Ireland in the months beforehand without knowing there was a political decision about it happening in this country. When the Gender Recognition Act came in, nobody knew anything. And it came in by stealth and secrecy. And it was a bad law, it was a poorly written law, and it needs now to be looked at again, and it needs to be changed. There's been a campaign against those women and against those who would campaign about reality. It has been a nasty campaign, it is vitriol, it has hurt people deeply. But that is all they have, that hurt, and that whereas here there is actually reality. As part of that intimidation, a letter was written a couple of years ago in which it was called for political representation and franchise to be removed from people with very critical beliefs. For people and women who believe what we do, not to have public discourse or access to public spaces. That letter was signed by Amnesty International and the National Women's Council of Ireland. Can you believe that Amnesty International calls to disenfranchise people and the National Women's Council of Ireland called to block women from public spaces and public discourse? What is worse still for that letter is it passed without comment from journalists or politicians. And the silence received from that call to disenfranchise people in this country is a shame on our journalists and our politicians. And now we have to stand up and have a debate, an open and honest debate, and it is time to do that. I hope it happens. Thank you.
I'm just going to warn you, there's going to be lots of you that are disappointed, so I'm really sorry.
One of those women who's been arrested by an Garda Síochána call for stopping a man going into a women's toilet. Okay? He's an ATP, and I asked him very nicely to go to the gender-neutral toilet, and of course he didn't want that because he gets sexually aroused from going into women's spaces. I left my job the next day because nobody would support me. And a month later he complained to the cops, and they came and arrested me and told me they were going to put cuffs on me. I'm 60 years old with 3 kids. Shame on them! Shame! And they interrogated me for 2.5 hours, and it was very distressing. But I made no comment, and the detective at the end of it shouted at me and he said, "Women have penises too!" And I said, "No!" And when I left that Garda station and tried to be all pally with me, and all the lights were turned off, and the recording equipment was off, and I said to them, "Bring it on!" I said, "Bring it on!" To Sinn Féin, who were up there in 1972, how they think of women. I know I'm going to be quick. 1972, what they think of women. Do you remember Jean? Yes! Yes! Because of her maternal instincts, and she was kind to an enemy soldier, and she put his dying head in her lap, and she said a prayer in his ear, and he died in her lap. They kidnapped her, and they shot her in the head. That was the military wing of those people up there. Jean McConville left 10 children without a mother who loved them. That's who they are. That's who they really are. Don't ever forget.
Right, I'm not, can you just put that just a tiny bit? That's fine. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't.
You're going to have to come back, Posie. That's what's going to have to happen.
I'll come back when it's not raining. We came to Ireland. In fact, the last time we came, there was a decrepit man who's very powerful from the United States of America who took up all the resources in the name Joe Biden, Mr. Executive Order. He managed to cancel. He managed to take women's rights even quicker than your government. He just signed an executive order, and in a blink of an eye, not a single woman in America has any sex-based rights. We got little tiny Rishi Sunak in the UK. He says he knows what a woman is, but he seems to have left his ball somewhere because he doesn't. I thought if I'm the Prime Minister, which may happen, you never know. If I'm the Prime Minister and I don't want children indoctrinated in schools, then children aren't indoctrinated in schools. If Rishi Sunak doesn't want to close loopholes, if he wants to moan about loopholes in our tax system, weirdly, he can just ignore that. He can just let it go. He has the power just to ignore those laws. But when it comes to indoctrinating children, he's absolutely mute. And I think this is why the Party of Women, which I find out on the 19th, it's taken 19 weeks for the Electoral Commission to do a job that takes 4 weeks to decide whether or not I can run the fucking country. And then, once we got it in the UK, we'll be like the insipid Green Party. We will have a party of women in every country. We will be running school councils. We will be running local councils. We will have women's voices when they decide who wipes the backsides of people in care homes. We will have women deciding who gets to be foster parents. What sort of policies they have in foster care, because I don't know about you, Ireland, but in the United Kingdom, if you don't think you want to transition a 4-year-old, you don't get to be foster carers anymore. They get to stay in the care system. And we all know what the care system does to children. And it isn't bloody good. So, we came here to say, no woman has a penis! No man has a vagina! There is no such thing as non-binary! And transitioning children is profound abuse! And let me just tell you, I know for some of you it took a tremendous act of courage. Maybe you haven't told your kids that you've come. Maybe you won't tell your employers that you visited. Maybe you're too worried to put it on social media. But you put your big girl pants on, not you boys, because that would be cross-dressing. You put your big girl pants on and you came anyway. And if you do that again and again, then I promise we will win. If you can speak the truth, even when you know all around you are fucking mental, then I promise we will win. And Dublin, do you know why else we're going to win?